Hello everyone, hope you are doing good.
Hello, sir. Yeah, we are doing good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, I had a question.
Yes.
Where will this recording be posted after the meeting?
After the meetings, the recorded will be uploaded.
Where will it be uploaded?
Normally by end of the day.
Okay, like where, like what website or where would it be uploaded? Because I cannot attend the meeting at the moment, so I'll need to rewatch it after.
Okay, so let's start the session. Yesterday we talked about abstract class, abstract method, interface, and how interface is different from abstract class. So as I said, today we'll talk about some question answer. I will ask you some questions on OOPS concept so far that we have covered, and then we'll move forward to the say collection frameworks, right? Okay, so let's start from Simon. So tell me about the method overloading, Simon. Simon, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Tell me about method overloading.
So in method overloading, it's part of the polymorphism, and we're printing it without with the superclass. We're using only one superclass, and we're printing it from that.
Okay.
Is that right, sir?
I'm asking about method overloading, not method overriding. In method overriding, you have a superclass class. In method overloading, we perform in one class only, where we do have the same method name and different parameters. We do provide a different implementation by a single object. That's called method overloading.
Okay.
In method overriding, we do have a superclass and subclass that we said. The superclass method is going to be overrided by all the subclasses, and they do have a different implementation by different object. So that's what the method overriding. Okay. Next question is what is an abstract method? What is an abstract method?
All right. Is that for me?
Yes.
An abstract method is a method where we're only showing or not giving the whole access to the user.
Yes. Abstract method is a method with no implementation. So it is just a method with signature. There will be no body of the method. Next question is for Raine. Tell me about the Java access modifier. Raine.
Yes, there are, I think, 4 access modifiers, which are public, default, private, and protected.
Okay, that sounds good. So next question is for Haptit. Tell me about the different types of inheritance we use. Haptit. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I do.
Yeah.
We have 5 inheritance, but we use the 3 of 1, the single one, multi-level, and a hierarchical.
Mm-hmm.
So the third one we use, the fourth one, multiple, we use with the interface. The hybrid, we're not using in Java.
Okay. All right, sounds good. So what is the difference between interface and abstract class? Franklin. Franklin, can you hear me?
Yes, so I'm sorry, I'm looking through my notes here. You said the difference between interface and abstract class?
Yes, yes. Difference between interface and abstract class we discussed yesterday.
So with the interface, sorry, give me a second. So I know the abstract class has certain keywords and sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for the one where it says interface. Will you be able to help me out with this one? I can't see where I wrote down the interface one.
Okay. Any other no answer? Senai, do you know this difference between interface and abstract class? Senai, tell me.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes. Tell me the difference between interface and abstract class.
Well, interface is a completely abstract class that's used to a group related method with empty bodies, but with abstract, it is either abstract class or interface that is used in the method.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I know so far.
Interface can have only abstract method. Abstract class can have both abstract and non-abstract method. So abstract class is used for partially abstraction. Interface used for fully abstraction. We cannot achieve multiple inheritance in abstract class. That means only one subclass, a subclass can extend only one abstract class. But in interface, a subclass can implement more than one interfaces. Okay. So we can write a constructor in abstract class, but in interface there will be no constructor. So these are the basic difference between interface and abstract class. Okay. Next questions. Difference between abstraction and encapsulations. Simon.
In encapsulation, we're hiding or making a private to the whole code where other viewers, unless use the see the get or set method, nobody can access that. And then in
In the abstraction, you're giving access only to the design where you have a user, but you don't have user access, but not the whole access to the program. Is that right, sir?
Yes. So basically, in encapsulation, we binding the properties and method in one single unit, that is a class. So the outside object cannot access those properties, those private properties we declare directly. And so basically we achieve the security, right? So and in abstraction, we hide the method implementation to outside object, right? So in encapsulation, we hide the private properties from outside object to access directly. And in abstraction, we hide the method implementation to the outside object. Okay. So in encapsulation, we can allow to access those private properties via public setter and getter method. But in abstraction, we are going to achieve the abstraction by using the subclasses. So subclass need to provide the implementation before we invoke those abstract method by user. Okay. The next question is how to create an immutable object in Java, Vinita.
Yes, sir. Immutable objects.
Yeah, how to create an immutable object in Java? Tell me.
No. Can you please give me the reference? But that means I know the what is meant by the objects, but what is meant by the immutable? I don't know, sir, the immutable concept.
Immutable, see, string is what in Java? String is immutable object, right?
Okay.
That means once you initialize the value, you cannot change it. Okay. So the same.
So it's like a
Yeah.
it's like a static variable.
No. It is not static variables. String is a immutable object. Immutable object. String is what? It is not a primitive type. It is non-primitive non-primitive data type. That means it is an object type, right? String is an object type in Java. So once you initialize some value into that object, then again you cannot change it, right? Just it need to create another reference to store the changing the values, but you cannot change the value for the same reference of object. Same like if I want to create my own immutable object, my own customized immutable object, then how you can create? So you can create the immutable object in Java followed by different steps. Declare the class as a final so that none of the subclasses can directly inherit it. And you need to declare all the properties as a private so that direct accessible is not there. And step 3 is don't write any setter method, only write getter method. That means I'm not going to allow to update the values, just I can return the values. So there are 3 steps. So you have to say, one is declare the class as a final, declare all the properties and constructor inside the class as a private. Don't introduce any setter method and write just a getter method.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Thank you. And
yeah, these are the steps we have to say. Next, what is the use of final keyword, Rene?
The final keyword is used to restrict the user. So what do I mean by that? The final keywords is used to restrict any manipulation that can be done on any class or on any variable or any method. So the final keyword can be applied to a variable, can be applied to a method, or can be applied to a class.
Okay. Yes, so we can declare final for final variables, final method, and as well as a final class. Yes. All right, so why Java main method is declared as a static method? Vinita, why Java main method is declared as a static method? Why not non-static? What is the reason behind to declare the main method as a public static?
Because when you in a Java application, sir, whenever we run the code, so it's defined with the help of a main program which accepts the string args argument, and whenever the Java starts to run the application, so at that time the memory allocation done only once with the help of the static keyword. That means it starts the execution. And it initialize the variables before calling the main method. Is it right? Correct. Is it right, sir, or not?
Not fully right. Let's see what others are answering. Franklin, what is your answer? Why Java main method is a static method? Why not non-static? Franklin, can you answer this?
I don't think I have that written down. Said why is Java main method not starting method? I'm sorry.
Why Java main method is declared static? Because we write public static void main, right? Yes or no? The main method. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So why it has to be declared as static? Why not non-static? That's my question.
Honestly, not sure about this one.
Yeah, please happy to.
Because we can call it directly without n because it is static.
Okay. Because we no need to explicitly call the main method because as it is a class level method. Static means what? It is a class level method, and this class level method can be loaded automatically by JVM during the execution of the code. Explicitly, we no need to call this main method like how you call other methods. We create object and we call the method. So if the main method will be converted into non-static method, so it will become a object level method, not class level method. And object level method we have to call it explicitly, but here we no need to call because as it is a class level method, automatically the main method will be loaded by JVM during the execution as it is a class level method. So that's the reasons we need to make the main method always declared as static. Okay. Next question. What is the default package of all the Java class that we declare? Meron.
Question again?
What is the default packages of every Java classes we write?
Default
package of every Java classes.
it's
What-
null.
What is
or
the
zero.
default package of every Java program we write? Yeah, tell me.
Null or zero.
No. Packages, I'm asking. Anyone can answer? Haptit, Tell me.
Sir,
I'm asking you, Rene.
The java.lang package.
Yes, good. Java.lang packages is the default packages of every Java classes we write in top of. And
You
which
said-
class is the super class of all the Java class that you write?
Well, I'm sorry, you said Java.run package?
Java.lang packages, yes. You said
Can you repeat it, Rainy? I'm sorry, I can't understand. that.
Java.lang is the packages, a default packages for every Java class we write. And which class is the super class of all the Java class we create? Which is a super class of all the Java class that we create?
sir, can I take?
Hmm?
The object class is a super class for the all Java.
Yes, object is a super class of all the Java class that we write. Okay. Next question. Can we create an object for abstract class or not? Simon, can we create a object for abstract class or not? Simon, can you hear me? Hello?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Are you there in the session or not?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, because after asking many times, you are responding. My question was, can we create an object for an abstract class or not?
Yes, we can.
We can create object for abstract class?
From the subclass.
No, not subclass. I'm asking about abstract class.
Abstract, no class, because in abstract we're not creating.
Why it is not possible? Why can't we create object for abstract class? What is the reason?
There is no object in the abstract class.
No, my question is, what is the reason why we can't create an object for abstract class? You said you cannot, we cannot create an object for abstract class. My question is why? Why can't we create? Tell me, Franklin, what is the reason why can't we create object for abstract class?
Can you repeat? I'm sorry, I'm having a tough time understanding what you're saying.
You guys are able to hear me or not? Because
I can hear you, it's
everyone is
just I
telling
can't
that, everyone is
understand what
telling
you're saying.
repeat the questions. Same question I repeated many times. My question was, why we can't create an object for abstract class?
Why we can't create an object for an abstract class? Is
Yeah.
that what you said?
Yes.
Isn't it because the abstract class is
Because abstract class is just a template, right? And abstract class contains abstract method, so it is incomplete. Abstract class is incomplete because it has an abstract method and it is a template, not a concrete, right? So that is the reasons JVM doesn't allow to create an object for abstract class. Even you try to create an instance for the abstract class, you will get a compilation error. That is the reasons we need a subclass which can extend the abstract class and where we can override all the abstract method. So what will be your answer? We cannot create an object for abstract class. The reason why? Because abstract class is a incomplete and it is just a template. So it has some abstract method. That is the reasons we need to extend for the abstract class, and we can create an object for abstract class, not directly from the abstract class. We can create an object for the subclasses, not directly from the abstract class. Okay. My last question. What is the difference between static variables and instance variables? Shenai, can you hear me? Rene, tell me the difference between static and instance variables.
The static variable is a class level variable. It's accessible to all of the class, but the instant variable it can only be accessed through
Object.
an object, the creation of an object. Yes.
Yes, because it is a object level variables and static is a class level variables. And static variables can be accessed through static and non-static method, but instance variables can be accessed through only non-static method.
Yes.
Static variables can be accessed through the class name, but non-static variables we can call by using the object. So I'm going to share my screen. So let's start from collection today.
Sorry, sir.
Yes.
It's not clear for me. Encapsulation, abstraction, and interface, the difference between them.
Sorry.
The difference between encapsulation, abstraction, and interface, it's not clear for me.
Okay. Encapsulation, basically we hide the properties from outside object, and abstraction we hide the method implementation to outside object. And interface is basically we use to achieve fully abstraction and as well as multiple inheritance purpose we use. Make sense now?
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes. So we'll start from the Java collections. So overview of Java collections. Collections is nothing but one of the popular Java frameworks. We used to develop a different types of application. We work on the in the real-time industry, but it's more important to understand where, how this collection is important, where we are going to use these collections, and its importance. Let's try to discuss in details today's sessions. Java Collection API provides every Java developer with a set of classes and interfaces that makes it easier to handle collection of objects. In a sense, collections is something works a bit like arrays, except the size can change dynamically and they have a more advanced behavior than arrays. So rather than having to write your own collection classes, Java provides these ready to use collection classes for you. Okay. Java collections is basically one of a Java frameworks, and it provides some collection framework means what? Which provides some inbuilt classes, inbuilt method, and inbuilt interfaces. Everything is already there in that API. So we as a developer, we are going to use as per our requirement, as per our needs. We need to use those ready to use classes, interfaces, and methods. And the main objective of these collection frameworks, which helps us to store the collection of object. It is easier to handle collection of object. In a sense, collection works is bit like arrays. In a sense, collection works is bit like arrays. What do you mean by arrays? Arrays is something where we do store the collection of similar data. That means if I want to store the collection of student name, or if I want to store the collection of employee name, or collection of product prices, or collection of student marks. So any collection of similar data we can store in one single unit, that is called arrays. And even collection framework is also doing the almost same kind of a job. So it's very important to know then if we have already arrays where we can store the collection of data, Then why again Java has introduced this collection framework? There are certain drawbacks that we are facing in the arrays, and that is the main reason why Java has introduced the collection frameworks. Collection frameworks has added some more advanced feature than arrays. So what exactly that advanced feature we are using in the collections than arrays? Basically, array is a fixed array object. Array is a fixed object. That means when I'm going to declaring an array, then I need to specify that how many collection of data I want to store. That means when I'm creating a string, when I'm creating an array to store the 10 number of students, then it allow me to store only 10 students only, not the 11, right? And collection framework is something which is a kind of a dynamic array where we can store the number of elements. Means the moment we are keep adding the number of elements, it is going to increase the size dynamically. So it is not a fixed array. Collections is not a fixed object, but array is a fixed. And second important is the drawbacks here. Java arrays are basically allowed to store only one type of elements, but the collections framework which allow to store the collection of multiple data in one single object. Let me elaborate this answer. If I will create a integer array, then it allow me to store only integer values, right? And if I'm going to create a string array, then it allow me to store only string values. But the collection is not like that, right? So where I can create the specific type of array to where I can create I can create a collection object, and that collection allow me to store any type of data. Means if I will create a collection object, in one object I can store integer values, collection of string values, collection of float values, collection of characters, any sort of data I can store easily. But arrays, it's not like that. It allows to store only one type of data. Number 3, arrays doesn't have such ready to use method implemented. We can use it directly. But collection, it is a framework, right? So it have already some ready to use method implemented, we can use directly, right? So that is the reasons, rather than having to write your own collection classes, Java provide these ready to use collection classes for you. As a developer, we can use it. Next, collection is an object representing a group of objects. Here collection frameworks contains a set of classes and some inbuilt interfaces which are used for representing and manipulating the collections, which are used to representing and the manipulating the collections. Collection interfaces is the root interface from which the interface list, set, queue are extended. Collection interface is the root interface. It is there in top of, right, in top of all the collections. And there are sub interfaces like list extended from the list extended from the collections, set also extended from collections, queue also extended from the collection. So these are the 3 different types of collections we have extended from the root interface, that is a collection framework. So if I want to working with this collection framework, then I'm going to use all the inbuilt classes, interfaces, and method. So which packages has introduced all these inbuilt method, classes, interfaces? That is a util packages. So the java.util packages contains all the class and interface for the collection framework. Collection in Java is a framework that provides an architecture to store and manipulating the group of objects. Okay, so it provides some architecture, some internally to store all these group of objects in one single unit. All the operation that you perform, on data such as searching the data, sorting the data, insertion the data, manipulation the data, delete the data, can be performed by Java collection easily. Yes, so these are the things that normally we are performing in our applications. I just want to implement some data structure operations, some data algorithms, right? So how I can do perform in a better way. That's specialized for Java collection frameworks. So we can searching some data, we can sorting some data, insert, manipulation, delete, all the stuff I can do easily. Java collection simply means a single unit of object, right? So Java collection frameworks provide many interfaces such as set, list, queue, dequeue, and some classes, array list class, vector, linked list class, priority queue, hash set, and linked hash set, and the tree set classes here. So these are the classes that has introduced and some interfaces that has introduced. This is basically the hierarchy of collections. As I said before, I have the topmost collections, topmost interface, which is a collection. Collection is one of the inbuilt interface is already introduced by Java, and there are sub interfaces that has been extended from collection. I have a list that extend from collections, set also extended, queue also extended. So all three sub interface they extended from the collection, and there are some classes which implement the list interface. So array list class, linked list class, vector, these three classes they implement the list interface. That means they are overriding the method from the list interface. And I have a hasset class, linked hasset class, and preset class. They implement the set interface to override all the method. And I have a linked list class, priority queue, and dequeue class. So these three classes they implement the queue to override the method from the queue. Now here you can see linked list classes implement two interfaces, list and as well as a queue. That means there are more feature as compared to other collection object that we have. Next, coming to the map. Map is a different type of collection. It is not included in the collection framework. It is a different collections. Okay, so map introduced later. Okay, it's not comes with the same time when the collection has introduced by Java. And we have the class that implement the map, such as a hash map class, hash table class, and the tree map class. So these are the three classes that implement the map interface. All right. Now let's try to understand first the list interface, how it works, and we will see the list classes, how it works. List interface is an order collection in which duplicate elements are also allowed. That means while you are developing an applications, if you want to store some duplicate values in your collections, then you can simply go for the list interface. And it follow the order collections. Okay, so how you are keep adding the same order, you will get the values. Elements are stored in the sequential way, and hence elements can be accessed using its index values. So each value have its own index. Even you can use the index to get the particular elements from the list interface. And we have the classes we already discussed before, like array list class, linked list class, and the vector class. C indicate it is a class. So these are the classes that we are going to implements of the list interface. So now let's talk about first the array list class. Yeah, array list class, and then we'll see the rest of the part. So array list class implement the list interface. It is widely used because of the functionality and flexibility it offers. Array list class implements a list interface. It is widely used by the developer because of the functionality it offers and flexibility it offers to the developer. That is the reasons most of the developer they choose array list over the array, as it is a very good alternative of traditional Java array concept we use. Array list is basically a resizable array implementation of the list interface. It implements all optional list operations and permits all elements, including the null values. The issue with array is that they are of fixed length. So if it is a full, you cannot add any more elements to it. Likewise, if there are number of elements gets removed from it, the memory consumption would be the same, as it does not shrink. On the other hand, array list also can dynamically grow and shrink after additions and removal of elements. Apart from these, benefits of ArrayList class enable us to use the predefined methods of it, which makes our task easy. If I'm going to use arrays, before we talk about many drawbacks of array and why ArrayList has introduced as a alternative options in the place of array. So if we'll talk about arrays, right? So if I'm going to remove any elements, or if I'm going to delete any values, the array size will be the same. Even I'm not going to adding any values also, the default it is going to consume the memory because it store the default null values. But ArrayList is not like that. If you are going to keep adding value, then only it will consume the memory, otherwise no. So you are going to save the memory directly by using the ArrayList that has introduced by the collections, right? And as I said before, this point already, array doesn't have such a method implemented which can be ready to use directly by the developer, but ArrayList have some ready to use methods can be performed in a better way and in the faster, right? So that's what. And the rest of the part I already told you. Array is a fixed length, so we cannot add any more elements to it. Likewise, there are number of elements get removed from it, the memory consumption will be the same. It is not going to shrink. But ArrayList is what? It is not a fixed length. We can add any number of, we can remove. If you are going to add, then only it will consume the memory, it increases size. When you are going to remove, then it is going to remove the memory and its size is going to be decreased. This time practical demonstrations. We'll continue with the same Java demo project. Now let me create a class. Okay. So what is my package over here is, let's see, it is a class name, sorry, package name should be a lowercase, and then the class name I will say my ArrayList example. All right, so let me write everything in my main method only. So I will say ArrayList. I'm going to create an object ArrayList. New ArrayList. Let me. So as you can see here, I'm getting an error here, like because I need to import the packages. As you know, we have to use the util packages. So let me import that, and my error is gone now. So now my object is created, and then I'm going to use this object to store some values. Okay, so let me save this code. Now here I'm going to say yeah. So I will say object dot size. That means what? I just want to know if I'm not going to adding any values, right? If I'm not going to adding any values into this ArrayList object, so what will be the default size of this object? What will the default size of this object? I just want to see that. Now let me add some values. So to add some values, we have a method called add method. So I will say object dot add. So let me just add some value here. Let's say I'm going to add something called some list of courses. So I'm going to say Java courses is there. And same Java only. I just want to see whether it allow me to store duplicate values or not. All right, so what I'm going to do is again, after adding this, again I'm just going to check the size. So whether the and then after that I'm just going to print the same object here. So I'm just going to print the object, and ArrayList internally use array to manage all the values in the form of an index basis, right? So when I'm going to print the object, then this object print all the values in the form of a array structure. Let's go and see. Yeah, so what I can see here, initial size was 0, right? That means it's not going to consume any memory until I'm not adding any values. So once I've added these 4 values, then it says that size was 4, and then I got these four values. So what is the order that value I got it? The sequence order, insertion order, right? The way how I have inserted the same order I got the values, and it's practically proved that it's allow duplicate values also. So one thing we got confirmed that array list is a dynamic array. Array list follow insertion order. Array list also allow to store the duplicate values. Now let's see if I'm going to remove any values, whether the size is going to reflecting or not. So I'm going to say object dot remove say which index I want to remove. Say one index. That means it's a AWS, because array always manage all the values in the form of 0 in starting from 0 index. So in 0 index I have a Java, in 1 index I have AWS, 2 index I have a Python, and the 3 index I have a Java, right? So there are 4 index are there, 0, 1, 2, 3. So when I will say object or remove, that means I want to remove AWS from my array list object. But here we can just observe I'm not going to taking any burden to write some logic how this element has to remove, how this element has to be added, right? Because everything is already there, right? So we have an add method, we have remove methods, and same thing if I want to replace also, maybe I can do that as well. Object dot set. So I'm just going to say the 3 index say is a Java full stack. I'm just going to replace the 3rd index. In place of Java, it should be Java full stack. All right. Now again, I'm going to print the size, and I'm going to print the content as well. Now let's run the code again. Yeah, the problem over here is we can see initial was 0, 4, AWS, Java, and when I'm trying to print the size, here I'm getting an error because I'm going to remove 1, right? When I'm going to remove 1, that means it's going to remove. So I have a 0, 1, and 2, right? I have a 0, 1, 2. So there is no 3 index. That's the reason it's telling that error that array index out of bound exception. That index is not there, my dear, right? Now my last index is a 2. So this is removed. So I have a 0, I have a 1, and I have a 2. That is a mistake I made here, right? So it should be a 2 index. Now let's run again. Screen down. Yes. Size has decreased. Yes, because I have removed 1. And I have only 3 values. And this is also replaced. It's awesome, right? So I can easy to manage all my data over the object by using this collection framework, and that is what the specialize of this, right? So what I'm going to do here, I just want to search here that say there is course there or not. Say file contains. If it is there, then it returns to you. If it is not there, return false. Now let's go and check. False, because AWS is not there. Yeah, right. So I'm going to check, okay, whether Python is there or not. Whether Python is there or not. Yes, it's just true because Python is there in the 1 index. Right now, I'm going to add elements into the particular index. Like how I have replaced the value in the particular index, the same I can add any value to the particular index. So here in 0 index, in the top, I just want one value, something called let's say data science. Yes, I want to add in the 0 index. And then again, I want to add one more values. That is called Java data. Okay, and after adding this, let me again check the size and print the values. Before it was 3, now it is a 5. What I got here, data science in the 0 index, DevOps into the 4th index, right? So it is easy for you to manage your data. It is easy for you to manipulate. It is easy for you to remove the values, right? And then it's dynamically increase the size, dynamically decrease the size, right? So it is a dynamic array object which is very flexible, and alternative options we can use in place of array, right? So here
Actually,
we can create your own specific type of collection also. We can create your own specific type of collection. Let's say I need a array list object which allow me to store only my string type of values, or maybe integer type of values, right? So if I'm not going to make that, if I'm not going to make my array list as a specific type of, then I can store any other values. Let's say, for example, I can make this 4th index s of string, I can store any values. Let's say something called 761, some integer values. Will it allow me to add this integer also along with string? Obviously. That is what a dynamic array, and there is no specific restriction. We can add any values, right? So until or unless you are not creating a generic collections, the array list allowed to store any such type of values. But the same thing if I will do with array, not possible. Okay,
Sir,
let me share this code with you.
sir, I have a question.
Let me share this code with you.
Sir, I have a question.
Tell me, what is your questions?
If we wanted to add some data between the array like Java and please show me your screen.
Yeah, tell me.
Show me your screen, please.
Yeah, I'm showing your screen only, my screen. Tell me.
Okay. If you wanted to add some objects between then the array Java and Python.
Anywhere you can give the positions, not a problem.
Okay, can you show
Any-
us that?
Any index that you can give. That's what I said this program, so that you can do some more practice. Any index, whatever the index position you will give, that is going to be adding there.
Can you show us?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Clear?
Yeah. Thank you.
Do this practice, go to this material, and we'll see tomorrow more couple of examples. All right.
I haven't yet gotten the video for yesterday, and I
Okay.
don't know why.
Okay.
I haven't got it for the whole, since the start of the class. I don't know why.
The same thing with me also, sir. I haven't get any recordings and the materials.
I have already uploaded all the recording session, but why you are not getting, then you talk to the resource team, except the yesterday recording. Yesterday I recorded and have not uploaded because there was some issues with my end, internet issues yesterday. But up to Friday, all the recorded session has been uploaded into the portal. If you're not getting accessible, then talk to the recruiter or talk to the team or whatever the contact number you have in the recruiter, just talk to them.
I did, but nobody is answering.
To whom you spoke?
Jim,
Okay, let me talk to him then.
okay.
Okay. Bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye, sir. Thank you.